As part of our commitment to providing relevant support to blind and partially sighted people, our community sight loss advisor, Stuart Walpole, has launched a focus group dedicated to reaching members of the Black, Asian and minority ethnic community, otherwise known as the BAME community. The group will work with BAME individuals and community organisations to raise awareness of the support we can offer. The group will also aim to empower people with sight loss, giving them the confidence to seek help and lead independent lives. Pendle Community Radio host Saima Ashraf, who is visually impaired, is one of our focus group members and she joins us now. Hello, Saima.
Hi, Natalie, you okay?
Yeah, good, thanks. Are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Brilliant. So, first of all, do you want to tell us what the aim of the focus group is?
Well, when I was contacted by Stuart Walpole from Galloway, I was very pleased to hear that Galloway was organising a focus group to focus on issues within the BAME community. Now, having experienced sight loss as a teenager, and obviously being from the kind of Asian community, I understand some of the issues and why some people are not engaging with organizations like Galloway's and seeking support and help that there is out there. So when I heard about the focus group, I think it is time, because through my radio work and other charity work and community-based work that I do, I meet visually impaired or blind Asian people all the time. And when I hear the stories, they're very isolated in the community. Their families are the ones that are supporting them, etc. But they're not aware of the support that's out there. They're not aware of the activities that they could still partake in, because a lot of people like myself have been fully sighted and then lost their sight. So obviously it's like a bereavement, when you lose, when you form a disability like blindness. And it's a journey that you need to go through, and you've got to come to terms with the loss. And then we need to move to the stage of moving forward. And sadly, because these people are isolated in the community and not aware of organizations like Galloway's, they're still in that bereavement phase for many, many years. I've met people that have been in that phase for 15, 20 years, and they've just not been able to move on. So the purpose of the focus group is to provide them people with the opportunity to meet other people going through the same thing. And when I talk to a lot of people, obviously I'm very comfortable and kind of fine with my disability now, and I've come to terms with it. But when I speak to any visually impaired blind person, the main message I give to them is that it's your own personal journey, and it takes a long time to get to the different stages of dealing with the sight loss. But the whole point of being in the focus group is to talk to others who are going from the same experience, is to share the experiences, and where there's knowledge that needs to be shared for services that you can access, again, it will all be through the focus group. At the same time, when a child has this kind of disability come for them, families go through a lot of difficulties as well. And I think it's an opportunity then for the visually impaired people to meet other visually impaired people, and then to allow their families to meet as well. Because within the BAME community, there's a big focus on families kind of taking over when somebody has a disability, feeling that they have to now compensate for the loss that the individual has. But my personal kind of feeling is that that's absolutely wonderful, and we are blessed to have families like that who want to support us. But there's a very fine line between them supporting us and them becoming another barrier in front of the disability, because becoming independent and not relying on others, these are all key messages that need to be given, because God forbid, anything happens to the parents or the sibling, nobody knows how long they're going to be around to do everything for you. And you could end up in a situation where suddenly they're not there anymore, but you have been wrapped up in cotton wool for so long that you can't cope, and then that's a different disability in itself. So in trying to avoid them kind of situations, I think that's the purpose of the focus group, is to try and inspire other visually impaired people what can be achieved.
Great. And you've touched on family there. What other challenges do you think visually impaired BAME members of the community experience?
Sadly, there's one of the biggest problems is that the BAME community is very community focused. And the experience I've had when people have had sight loss, because within the Asian community, it very much is the end of the world mentality when you have any disability, and not just blindness. And sadly, the community is very marriage focused. So as soon as your child has a disability, the damaged goods, and it sounds kind of quite ruthless the way I'm putting it, but sadly, this is how it is. And the comments that people make, your child is not marriage material, they're a burden, very much this kind of mentality. And the potential of a disabled person, it's very difficult for them to think that there is potential for a visually impaired blind person to achieving something. And so not only does the individual and the family have the problem, have to come into terms with their child, having sight loss and the turmoil that brings, but on the other hand, they have to then deal with the community backlash and what they think. And not everybody is lucky to have a supportive family. And I was very blessed with very supportive parents. I'm the youngest of 5 siblings and very supportive siblings. But as I meet other people within the community, sadly, they don't have the same support. And especially their family are kind of made to feel embarrassed. And in one way, some parents are made to feel guilty. I mean, I've had people say to me that, what did you do that was so wrong that you got a punishment of blindness, and this is the things that people have said. And I know that this has been said to other blind people. And the thing is, it's all culture. No religion advocates for any punishments, that somebody is suddenly given a punishment of a disability, but it's the cultural aspect and these kind of comments that come through that add to the disability. And then it ends up with the families trying to shy away from the community to hide the person with the disability, and then they don't end up interacting. When I had my sight loss and I was registered blind at 17, I had a lot of comments from extended family members, not from my parents and siblings, but other people. But rather than letting that negativity get me down, I channeled that negativity into thinking, right, I'm going to show these people. And you have to become very thick-skinned, and you have to, and I kind of make a focus. And for me, it was, I'm going to academically achieve something so that these people tomorrow can say, wow, look, she's an inspiration. And, fast forward 20 years, I'm 37 years old now. I am the only registered blind chartered accountant in the UK, and I've been working in audit for 15 years. And now the same relatives say to their children, oh, look at Saima, she's an inspiration, look at what she's achieved. And the attitudes that they had, have changed. So that's kind of my message to try and get to people, is that, yes, we get surrounded by negativity, but we've got to work our way to channel that negativity into something positive.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think it's great to have this group to show people what can be done with a visual impairment or any other disability. And like you say, inspire people and encourage people. So what sort of things will you be wanting to do perhaps next year within the community?
Yeah, hopefully we'll get through COVID soon and we can get back to some normality. But some of the things that I'm planning on doing is through the focus group, we want to generate more membership, first of all. So we're going to try that through different mediums. Through people that I know, mutual kind of contacts, contacting some of the rehab officers that I know, to try and get some publicity out there and to let people know that there is the BAME focus group by Galloway's. And then working with Stuart, once we do have an uptake in the membership, to then start considering some of the events and activities that they would want to engage with, and then see if we can organize and arrange some of them. In addition to that, I am planning on starting doing some blogging on Instagram. I have created my page, which is Saima Ashraf _ blind auditor. And I'm going to start blogging on activities that blind visually impaired people can do. And they're not specific to BAME people. It is anybody blind visually impaired. Because sadly, I find that there isn't the one list or one place that an individual can go to find out what is out there for us to engage and use in order to carry on living a normal existence. So I want to kind of start in simple things, for example, just with money on the new notes. There are the indentations on there to identify what's a £20, £10, £5, just from simple things like that to start of that people just aren't aware of. And then to the extent of, things like the Journey Care Service, which is allowing us to be independent on using trains, the Access to Work program, which again is the only way that I have managed to have an independent kind of career. So these are many areas that when I talk to visually impaired people, they're just not aware of these areas that are out there. So through the focus group, through the activities, through Galloway's, the whole objective is to improve the lives of visually impaired people, to remove them from their isolation, where they need kind of just that chat with somebody to go through and have who's had the same experience, to provide that opportunity, if not just from myself, but from the other people within the group. And so, and like I said, to allow families to have that opportunity as well, where they could meet other families who are coming to terms with a child having a disability as well.
Excellent. And I know one piece of work, which by the time this is aired will have already have happened, but Glenn will be joining you on your radio show talking about eye care within the BAME community as part of your bigger aim for a larger show on disability awareness. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is in line with, obviously, it's a National Disability Awareness Month as well, so it's 18th of November. And then on the 3rd of December, we have the United Nations International Day for people with disabilities. So because that's happening obviously this week, I decided that my radio program is every Tuesdays between 5 and 7 p.m. So this week I would, on the 1st of December, I'd have a focus on disability awareness. And I decided that what would be really useful, because the listenership of Pendle Community Radio are mainly from the BAME community, particularly the Pakistani Muslim community. And unfortunately, we do have a lot of people with diabetes, a lot of people with glaucoma. And I think it's going to be absolutely valuable to hear from Glenn, the eye care and the things that people can do around looking after their eyes before they develop any issues or any disability. So I'm really looking forward to having Glenn on. And like he said, it is part of a wider program on disability awareness.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Saima. It's been really interesting speaking to you, and in particular, some really thought-provoking comments about people's attitudes towards disability. So it is really interesting, and hope we can challenge those stereotypes and perceptions to get something more positive. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm really pleased to be working with Galloway's.